In October of 2009, three friends, Daniel, Marcus, and Eli, all in their early 20s and eager for adventure, set off on a weekend hiking trip. They had meticulously planned their route, packed their gear, and were looking forward to escaping the city for a few days of camaraderie and exploration. Little did they know, this trip would become a nightmare etched in their memories. A chilling tale whispered among those who dare to venture deep into the Appalachian wilderness. Their destination was the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, a place known for its stunning vistas, challenging trails, and a sense of isolation that can both invigorate and unnerve. The mountains were shrouded in the autumnal hues of red, orange, and gold, but a persistent fog clung to the peaks, adding an eerie ambiance to their journey. But they never made it home. Their families grew worried when they didn't return as scheduled, and soon, a sense of dread began to settle over their community. The vibrant colors of the mountains seemed to mock their absence, and the fog seemed to whisper secrets that no one could decipher. Only one of them, Daniel, was found 3 days later, a ghost of his former self, stumbling out of the woods and back into civilization. He was wandering barefoot down a desolate fire road, his clothes torn, his skin bloodied and scratched, clearly dehydrated and in a state of profound shock. He was mumbling incoherently, his eyes wide with terror, as if he had witnessed something unspeakable. He had no gear, no backpack, no water bottle, no map, no compass, nothing. And most disturbingly, he had no memory of how he got there, or what had happened to his friends. His mind was a blank slate, wiped clean by some unknown horror. Authorities immediately launched a massive search and rescue operation for Marcus and Eli, hoping against hope that they could be found alive. But nothing was found. No bodies, no backpacks, no discarded equipment, no sign of a struggle, no trace of their existence. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air, swallowed by the unforgiving wilderness. The search team scoured every inch of the forest, but the mountains remained silent, guarding their secrets jealously. When Daniel finally recovered enough to speak, he told investigators something strange, something that defied logic and sent shivers down their spines. He said that during their hike, they came across a cabin deep in the forest, hidden away from any known trail. A structure that seemed ancient and out of place, as if it had been there for centuries, silently watching the world go by. It was not marked on any map, and seemed to exist outside of the realm of ordinary reality. Old, weathered wooden planks, grayed with age and exposure to the elements, with crude iron crosses nailed haphazardly to the door, as if to ward off some unseen evil. Marcus, ever the daredevil, egged Eli on to knock on the door. He hesitated, a sense of unease washing over him, but eventually he relented. He did. And then the door slowly opened on its own, creaking ominously as it swung inward, revealing a dark and foreboding interior. Inside, Daniel said it was freezing, an unnatural cold that seemed to penetrate their bones. Too cold to be normal, even for an old cabin in the woods. As if the air had been sucked out, leaving a vacuum of chilling emptiness. There was a table set for dinner with plates, silverware, and glasses, as if someone were expecting guests, and photos on the wall, framed photos, yellowed with age, hanging crookedly on the rough-hewn walls. Photos of them, the three of them, from that very day. He swore those pictures hadn't been taken yet. They depicted scenes from earlier in their hike, moments that had already passed, but somehow were now immortalized on those eerie photographs. Then, he said the lights, or whatever source of illumination was in the cabin, abruptly went out, plunging them into complete darkness. When they flickered back on, just as suddenly as they had disappeared, Marcus and Eli were gone, vanished without a trace, as if they had been erased from existence. Daniel doesn't remember how he escaped the cabin. His mind draws a complete blank. Just blackness, a void where memories should have been. Then waking up disoriented and alone on the fire road, miles from anywhere familiar. The cabin itself? Never found, despite extensive searches by authorities and volunteers. Even satellite imagery shows nothing where Daniel swore the cabin was located, as if the forest itself was conspiring to hide its existence. In 2021, 12 years later, the story resurfaced when a hiker posted anonymously on Reddit a chilling account of their own experience in the Blue Ridge Mountains. The post read, "I saw a cabin in the Blue Ridge. Looked completely out of place, like something from another time. The air inside was cold as hell. It felt wrong. I ran. I'm still not sure why, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. Attached to the post was a photo, the same cabin that Daniel had described, the same weathered wooden planks, the same door, the same crude iron crosses, glinting ominously in the dim light. But then, the post was abruptly removed. The user account disappeared, leaving no trace of their online presence. And the forest still waits, shrouded in mist and mystery, guarding its secrets and beckoning unsuspecting travelers to their doom. In the years after Daniel's return, the story of the Blue Ridge Cabin spread like wildfire, first through hushed conversations in local diners, then across online forums and late-night radio shows. The Blue Ridge Mountains, once a haven for hikers and dreamers, became a place of whispered warnings and uneasy glances. Some called it superstition, others, a curse. Missing posters began to appear on trailheads and bulletin boards, faces of those who vanished without a trace, their stories echoing Daniel's. Locals spoke in hushed tones about the vanishing cabin. Some claimed to have seen it, always in the fog, always just out of reach. In grainy interview clips, faces obscured, a park ranger's voice trembles. I've worked these woods for decades, but there's something out there that doesn't want to be found. A bartender recounts. Hikers come in shaken, talking about cold spots, strange lights, and the feeling of being watched. Last spring, a couple vanished. Their gear was untouched. They were just gone. As the legend grew, so did the fear. More disappearances. Some returned days later, dazed and silent, unable to explain what happened. Others were never seen again. Online, the myth took on a life of its own. One user posted, "I saw the cabin. The door was open. I heard whispering, my own voice but twisted. I ran. I don't remember getting back to my car." The post vanished within hours. Supernatural theories flourished. Some say the cabin is a tear in reality, a place where time folds and memories unravel. Others insist it's haunted by the lost or guarded by something ancient and malevolent. But one truth remains. The Blue Ridge Mountains are no longer just a place of beauty and solitude. They are a labyrinth of secrets, where the mist conceals more than just the landscape. Somewhere deep in the woods, the cabin waits for its next visitors. The legend grows with every disappearance, every strange photograph, every chilling story. And the question remains, what really happened to Marcus and Eli? Will the forest ever give up its secrets? Sealed in the endless mist. In the age of viral challenges and endless scrolling, the legend of the Blue Ridge Cabin was reborn, this time as a dangerous obsession. It started with a TikTok dare, a flurry of Instagram stories, and a hashtag that trended overnight, #BlueRidgeCabin Challenge. Young thrill seekers armed with smartphones and GoPros set out into the misty woods, chasing likes and internet fame. Snapchat stories showed shaky night hikes, nervous laughter echoing through the trees. Twitter feeds filled with cryptic GPS coordinates and grainy, distorted photos, faces blurred, eyes wide with fear. At first the comments were playful. Bet you won't last an hour. And did you hear that too? But as the challenge spread, so did the unease. Posts grew stranger, videos abruptly ending in static, captions pleading for help. Friends tagged each other, then stopped replying. Local authorities reported an uptick in missing persons, hikers vanishing without a trace, their last online footprints leading deep into the Blue Ridge mist. Soon, the challenge became a warning. Viral threads urged, if you see the door, turn back. If you hear the whisper, run. Survivors, pale, eyes haunted, shared their stories in live streams that cut out mid-sentence, leaving viewers with more questions than answers. The legend was no longer just a story. It was real, and it was hungry for attention. Now, before every Blue Ridge Cabin Challenge video, a chilling disclaimer appears. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. Don't become part of the legend. So if you're ever tempted to chase the cabin for likes or views, remember, the Blue Ridge watches, and some doors once opened can never be closed.